BoomerKia.com. When other dealers try to keep you in the dark until the very end, at Boomer Kia, we're upfront and transparent, all without having to speak to anybody. So instead of spending hours in a dealership getting yanked around just to find out if you're not getting the deal you want, visit BoomerKia.com and click the iPreCheck form. You'll get your real credit score, your real monthly payments, and more for every vehicle on our site. So what's the best thing about iPreCheck? There's zero risk. It literally doesn't cost you anything. Just enter your name, your address, and the last four of your social, and you can be pre-approved instantly for a brand new Kia at Boomer Kia. So what are you waiting for? Visit BoomerKia.com and click the iPreCheck banner to get pre-approved, all without any risk to your credit. Then come to Boomer Kia off I-240 and South Walker.
And we are here. Welcome to the Metro Tech OKCPS Coaches Show here on CBS Sports Radio 105.3 at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. We are located in the Legends Lounge, and I'm telling you, it's going down in the lounge. We got Wheeler Middle School. First of all, let me give you our presenting sponsors, Kai's Concepts. With each bar purchase, you are helping feed, support, and transform lives of those in need throughout the world. Get you a Kai's bar. Also, Perry Broadcasting, Oklahoma City Dodgers Foundation, Dick's Sporting Goods, Impressions Printing, and Big O's Barbecue. Go get yourself a fat butt they sell over there at Big O's. Well, welcome. We have with us, first of all, the Wheeler Middle School cross-country team, student athletes Christian Alvarez and Angel Ramirez, coached by Julie Farrell. I had to get that right. And so we are excited to have you guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So I think these young fellas have been talking to me a tad bit nervous, so I'm going to mess with them a little bit on tonight. Christian, tell me, man, how'd you get involved in this cross-country sporting event?
Well, whenever I was younger, I used to run a lot, and I ran marathons whenever I was a little kid, so I just decided to join cross-country because it's just what I do.
Absolutely. Angel, tell me.
I was going to school for my mom could sign me up for this year, and the soccer coach happens to be there, and then he was just telling me join, and he kept convincing me, and then I just listened.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, cross country will help you a lot in soccer. So, Coach, tell us how did you get into cross country? How did you get to Wheeler? Just give me that story really quickly.
All right, so I was a cross country runner myself back in middle school, and it prepared me for soccer, so that was the reason that I got into it originally. I've been running ever since then. I love to run. I love to instill that in these kids too and show them that it's not just a way to get in shape for other sports. It can really be a window for so many other things. When Wheeler became a middle school, Pathway to Greatness, I just took on that coaching role. They were looking for coaches anywhere and everywhere, and I decided to do it, and I've loved it, so I've never looked back.
Well, listen, as far as I've been told, you are more than just a cross-country coach. You are the recipient of the Rotary Club of Oklahoma City September Teachers of the Month Award. Tell me, how does that feel? Give her a hand.
Thank you. Yeah, that was such an honor to be able to go to City Hall, talk to some really important people, meet the mayor. It was an honor to be able to represent OKCPS, our Wheeler family, and all our students.
So what do you teach at Wheeler Middle School?
I teach 5th grade special education, language arts. I'm reading and writing, but I work with all the kids, especially since we're in sports, so working with all those 5th through 8th graders. Gotcha. Christian and Angel, what kind of coach is Coach Farrell like? Is she hard? Tell me what your relationship is like with your coach.
She's actually very supportive. She's just trying to make sure we can finish, and she's just trying to get us in shape, and she's just honestly an amazing coach.
Yeah, she's not hard. She puts us through our running drills usually, and then after that we just go home.
Sure.
Yeah, but she doesn't really punish us a lot. So.
Well, running itself is punishment if you ask most people, but it's a lot of fun, right?
Yes.
So, Coach, tell me, what is your coaching style? Tell me where you get that from, and then what is it that you attempt to try to implement in your student athletes? Yeah, well, I know running's not everyone's number one favorite thing to do. So it can be hard to recruit around school, telling them
come run with us. Our competitions are literally running more. Our practices is running. We can run more on the weekend.
Sure.
And that's supposed to be fun for middle schoolers. So it can be hard on that respect, but I mean, once they show up and we put in the work, they have a lot of fun. They see how it feels to be able to finish a race, how much better they get throughout the season. And we go through our drills, long distance, our sprints, running hills. And Christian actually last year was like, thank you for making me run those hills. It felt a lot easier on our last meet. So we just put in the work, and it's great to see the results.
Christian's a high pain tolerance guy. Hey, guys, tell me, what is that one thing that you get from running, right? Like, how does that make you feel? What have you learned as a cross-country runner?
Well, what it mostly takes is confidence. Cross country is mostly just in your head, and it just helps me just generally because I just feel accomplished whenever I'm able to finish a race, and it just helps me feel amazing.
Sure.
It just builds confidence.
I don't. It just makes me proud. Like I don't really care about like getting first place. Like I just care about finishing, and like just like trying not to stop running for 2 miles, and just like keep going and just finishing is what's really important for me.
So, Coach, tell me, like, what does practice look like? Obviously, I heard you say you run a couple of miles. And then once you tell me what practice looks like, tell me how your student athletes' times have changed over the races.
Well, practice for us, it can look different day to day. Usually we start the week with a longer run, then we start splitting that up into our shorter increments, working on pacing. We'll do a lap and then try to beat that time the next time. Every single race, these kids show that they're making progress. Christian actually just shaved off like 2 minutes from his last meet, so 2 miles, shaving off 2 minutes, that's a mile a minute. That's awesome. We've seen a lot of improvement over our drills. If we know there's going to be a meet with a lot of hills coming up, that's where we're at the hills. And if we're working on our strides for finishing, just getting them in good form and making sure that they finish those races.
Absolutely. So Christian and Angel, tell me, what are you eating the day of your race?
I don't have a specific diet. I just eat what my mom cooks, and I just exercise. I just exercise. Whatever my mom cooks is what I eat the day before the meet.
I don't really eat a lot too much, but I do drink like a smoothie and then like a energy bar that my mom gets me every morning. Cause like she wakes up early every morning to go to this one spot.
Yep.
I don't know. It's like really good though. But
I wouldn't do well if I couldn't eat breakfast, right? So Coach, how much do you talk to your student athletes about diet? And I know you're not trying to be extremely strenuent when it comes to that, but what do you share, those ideas?
Our biggest thing for them is just hydrating. I mean, they're at school all day for 6 hours, so we need to make sure we're drinking water during the day, making sure they carry their water bottle, hydrate after our races, eating good foods of quality, and trying to stay away from those Takis and hot chips before a race can be quite the battle in itself, but I think they've learned a lot about taking care of themselves, and if they don't, they get that natural consequence, and then they learn it one way or another.
That natural consequence, I promise you guys, it is so healthy. You feel so much better when that natural thing happens. I've seen that a lot in my days. Yeah, tell me this, what are you listening to, right? So I ask these athletes who come on, if you run with headphones, what is your motivation? Like, what is that song? Who is that person? What's playing in your ears to get you going to run this race?
Well, most of during practice, I do not listen to music since we're not allowed to bring our earphones to school anymore. But I can't run with music on during the races. But whenever I am able to, I usually run with this music called funk. It's basically really aggressive music that just beats and everything, and it just helps me keep it moving.
Make my funk the P-funk. What about you?
During like practice, like the same. I don't listen to anything, but then like when it comes to the race and we're on the bus heading, like I just like listen to my playlist. It's usually like a lot of calm songs, like
Gotcha.
not too much like songs that make me like pumped up, like
Yeah.
just songs that keep me calm and confident.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, Coach, what is your philosophy as you try to get your student athletes mentally prepared? Like, what is that conversation, right? They've alluded to that cross-country is just really a mindset. So who is that you're reading? Where are you getting your notes from, your tidbits to share with these student athletes?
I mean, most of my advice is coming from past coaches that I've had. Cross country is such a mental game, trying to get them to just zone in and make sure that they're running their best race. The thing I love about cross country season is they're cheering each other on. They're cheering everyone in the district that they see on, anywhere that we see at other meets. When they see another OKCPS shirt, they're out there cheering. So just making sure that they're encouraging themselves, encouraging others, and really running their best race.
So several more questions, but what has been, like, so every coach, every team, they have this T-shirt and they have a mantra. What is the one word that summarizes your entire team? What mantra has risen from this season?
Well, they don't know this yet, but they're getting T-shirts that say,
Uh-oh.
okay, they say Wheeler of Cross Country, pride of the South Side. We truly believe that they bring us so much pride, the work they put into it, just seeing how they blossom throughout the season. We get so much pride from them.
So, guys, tell me, as student athletes at Wheeler, I've actually been in your school a few times. How are you perceived by the other students who know that you guys are out there running track? What is the expectations, right? So are people expecting you guys to be young men of quality and character? Tell me what it's like just kind of interacting as a student athlete at Wheeler.
Well, for cross country, it's not really a popular sport in Wheeler, but for those who do it, they're just expected to like mostly be in shape. Like they're able to run long distance, and sometimes people come up to me in the hallways and ask, "How do you even do this?"
Other people, like my friends, I have a group of friends, and then, like I said, like before, our coach, like my soccer coach, was like trying to convince us to join, and then I joined, but like no one else did, and they're like, cause they think it's like hard,
Sure.
but I think it's just like, gotta keep a good pace and just like, just keep going.
Sure. So, Coach, tell me, what do you teach your guys and girls, I'm assuming both guys and girls, about just their character, right? What are those conversations about? Because in this business of coaching, we're coaching more than a sport, right? We are developing young men and women. So tell me your philosophy around just trying to develop student athletes of high character.
Right. I instill in them that if we're going to go to someone else's school, another public place, and you're going to wear Wheeler on your chest, then you will represent us well. You'll clean up after yourselves. You'll be respectful to the adults. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. And we will carry our school well. I was really thrilled. After the Webster meet, someone took time out of their day to write an email to our principal, let them know that we did that wholeheartedly, stayed after to help clean up after the race, and I was really proud of them, and I was really happy to see that someone took the time out of their day to write that note.
That's cool. What do you guys think about how far do you want to go running cross country? Obviously, you guys are middle school, but I think in the 8th grade, I know you're in the 7th grade, Angel, but it's time to start thinking about my future. Do you guys see yourselves potentially running in college or playing any of the other sports? And then tell me what other sports you play so the people can know.
What's going on? I do see myself running a few marathons in the future whenever I'm older, maybe in college, like maybe 25 miles, 30 miles. I'm actually thinking about signing up for this program that runs 30 miles. But I also do every single other sport. I plan on signing up for every sport besides basketball because basketball's not really, I'm not really good at that.
You should try it, Christian. I can just imagine. You would be very entertaining, though. Your smile alone will get you a bucket or two.
Before I joined, I was just like, I'm gonna do it 1 year and then I'm not gonna do it again, because I'm doing it to prepare myself for soccer, try to build stamina, and then, but I think I like it. I like it a lot, so I might be trying it again next year.
Absolutely. So, Coach, how do you go about recruiting these student athletes, right? Because I've been in middle school before, and there's a lot of talented kids running around. So what are you doing to kind of go pull them kids out of the hallways saying, hey, we got space out here? And then tell me just what that overall program looked like, girls and boys. Are your numbers really good?
So right now we pull a lot from our other sports, like our softball players, they run cross country. Our girls volleyball team, some of them run cross country. Our boys are mostly true cross-country runners. That's what they are doing this season. We know the athletes at Wheeler. We pull from those pockets, but then also we'll be out there running, and other kids will just jump in and run. I'm like, why aren't you out here every day? So we make sure that they know the avenue to get into the sport and get them signed up. It can be really difficult to get people to want to give their time every single day after school right now. But once they're committed and they see what we're about, I'm so proud of the ones that keep coming out.
So I'm not sure how these rules go. I want to use a pun here. I'm just a dumb jock, right? But how are you vertically integrating like Wheeler with maybe the other high schools, right? Are you talking to those coaches about, and I'm not saying recruiting, I'm simply saying, do these other coaches know that you potentially have some good athletes that are ultimately coming in those directions? I know the athletic director's over here, so I'm not trying to say anything negative.
So when our 8th graders, we definitely send those names of all our cross-country runners off to the high school to make sure they stay involved. So Christian, keep that in mind. But we make sure that they're continuing to do something once they get to high school, that they know that these are our runners and make sure they're involved in some aspect. I'm planning hopefully to do a practice with our high school, our feeder high school's Capitol Hill, so hopefully get them connected in some sort of way and do a practice towards the end of the year with them.
Sure. I mean, I think that would be really cool so those guys can have a chance, and ladies have a chance to kind of see and meet those other student athletes and coaches to say, hey, here's what we're doing. So tell me, how many track meets, cross-country meets have you had, and then how many more are remaining?
We've ran 4. We have 2 more Southeast, and then our All-City on October 1st.
So how have you guys fared in terms of placement in terms of these cross-country meets?
So right now we're really looking for some medals. I think we've been at some huge races. We have our sights set on All-City. Hopefully we can really represent well. It's been difficult because for cross-country to get a team medal, you have to have at least 5 runners, and right now it's been hard with the number game because we have about 3 in the 8th grade race, and then we'll have some in the 7th grade race. But they're representing themselves well, and we're just trying to get top 20 in the next couple.
Hey, listen, I think you guys are going to do well, and you're giving a tremendous effort. So what we normally do, here's one of the questions I always ask, and that is, who would you like to say thank you to? Those persons who have been, Christian's looking over there, his mom's here. Just who are those persons that you would like to say thank you, and they've been supportive, and then tell us how we can support Wheeler Cross Country. I'll start with you, Christian.
I want to say thank you to my grandma. No, I'm joking, my mom. I want to say thank you to my mom because she's always been supportive, and she always checks if I'm all right and all that. And she's always, I'm in football as well, and she's always kind of bugging me that I should focus on running, but she's the reason why I keep on running because she thinks I'm really good at it, and she's just the reason I keep going.
Cool, that's great.
Same from my mom. She helps me a lot. She knows that I run, and she knows how long I run and how much miles. And when I get home after a practice or a meet, she just helps me stretch out, make sure I'm good. She makes me food, and then my coaches too. They help me a lot, and
So, no, that's really good. I'm coming to eat too sometimes. Sound like this food business is really good, man. Tell me, Coach, who out there? Obviously, you got a great athletic department, and just who those people do you want to say thank you to?
I always joke that Wheeler cross country and cross country in general, it truly takes a village from fundraising up to planning our meets. It takes a lot. Our athletic director drives us to every meet in the bus. Our principal helps get our fundraising out to the community. We had churches donate last year. Private donations to help pay for these meets in addition to all the fundraising we do. So thank you to everyone at Wheeler and OKCPS Athletics because it really does take everyone.
So I know maybe last year or so, like Cleats for Kids and maybe another running program that's with Fields and Futures. How have those persons and those particular entities helped you guys this year?
Simon Griner has hooked us up.
Simon Griner, that's who it is.
And Cleats for Kids has gotten us all shoes this year. So I think everyone has running shoes. Before that, kids were running in Crocs and socks and anything they could find. So it's been a huge benefit and a blessing to our program.
Well, listen, I don't want to run, but I wear a size 12 if you run past one of those extra pairs. So, no, guys, thank you so much. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Christian, you did well. And so did you, Angel. You guys were so nervous, but you guys do extremely well. So you got any special friends you want to say hi to?
Nope.
I hear you, Christian. Well, listen, I want to say thank you guys for coming. This is Wheeler Middle School cross country. They are doing a phenomenal job. And then congratulations again, Coach, for being OKC Rotary's September Teacher of the Year. Hey, listen, you are listening to OKCPS Metro Tech OKCPS Coaches Show here on CBS Sports 105.3 FM at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. Brought to you by Kai's Concepts, Perry Publishing, Oklahoma City Dodgers Foundation, Dick's Sporting Goods, Impressions Printing, Big O's Barbecue. I'll see you on the other side.
Oklahoma City, I'm Miles Perry, and I want you to listen to my show, Super Prep Live.
Super Prep Live takes an in-depth look at the Oklahoma high school student athlete and what makes he or she become great at what they do. Super Prep Live can be heard on OKC's CBS Sports Radio 105.3 and Instagram Live.
Make sure you tune in and learn about the next great student athlete on Super Prep Live with me, Miles Perry.
Injuries don't wait for business hours. Now you can be seen 24/7 for sports injuries. Whether you have a sprain or a broken bone, at the SSM Health Bone and Joint Injury Clinic at 13401 Northwestern.
Oklahoma City. I'm Miles Perry, and I want you to tune into my show, Super Prep Live.
Super Prep Live takes an in-depth look at the Oklahoma high school student athlete and what makes he or she become great at what they do. Super Prep Live can be heard on OKC's CBS Sports Radio 105.3 and Instagram Live.
Make sure you tune in and learn about the next great student athlete on Super Prep Live with me, Miles Perry.
And we're back here at the Metro Tech OKCPS Coaches Show here on CBS Sports 105.3. We're at the Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in the Legends Lounge, and I'm feeling right at home in the lounge. So excited now. We had Wheeler Middle School cross country, and now we have Douglas High School volleyball. But let me give you our presenting sponsors, Kai's Concepts. With each bar purchase, you are helping feed, support, and transform lives of those in need throughout the world. Perry Broadcast and Oklahoma City Dodgers Foundation, Dick's Sporting Goods, Impressions Printing, and Big O's Barbecue. So now we have Douglas High School volleyball. We have two student athletes, Micaiah Brown and Kamariana Moten, as well as their head coach, Jayla Rose. Ladies, they're so glad to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You nervous?
A little bit.
All right, you'll be all right. Hey, Coach, tell me a little bit about this Douglas volleyball team right now.
So right now we have done a transformation in a year. This is year 2 for me coaching volleyball. And we went from winning one game last year to our girls not understanding rotations, knowing their positions, to this year, you know, everybody understands they have a position on the court. You know, they won 6 games. And so now trying to go on that high of, you know, now we're here, let's keep going there.
Sure. So Micaiah and Kamariana, how did you guys get involved in volleyball? Where did it start?
I'll go first. I started playing volleyball when I was in 5th grade. And, like, ever since then, that's just been, like, a sport for me.
Sure.
So I just enjoy it. That's just a sport that I'm good at and more confident in.
Sure. Now, what position do you play?
I'm a middle blocker
Okay.
/ hitter, but
Gotcha.
I started my freshman year. I didn't know nothing about volleyball at first. My coach introduced it to me to get right for basketball, which I didn't want to play at first. And
No one really wants to play at first, do they?
yeah, I didn't really take it serious last year, but this year something just changed, and I've been taking it serious this year, and I actually enjoy it now.
Sure. Coach, what do you think happened? Why do you think those changes happened?
Getting them more committed. We started in the summer, starting with strength and conditioning, and just kind of trying to teach them and showing them how to be female athletes.
Sure.
That's the biggest difference.
So I'm glad you mentioned summer and all of that, right? So in some of our communities, we're not as exposed and don't have some opportunities. Volleyball is a very expensive sport to play club level, et cetera. So tell me, what are you doing? You mentioned some summer stuff. What are you doing to help prepare these ladies for just high school volleyball?
So we're fundraising a lot. I put them onto Blast and like our calendar fundraisers because I want them to get the same opportunities that other people do. So I send them to camps. They went to the Epos camps this last summer. And so we're trying to increase involvement. And so that's in one, getting them in skills camp. I know that once they're in skills camp, everything else is going to follow.
Listen, so if anybody's out there listening, any universities, people who coach volleyball, please listen. I'm going to ask this for OKCPS that, hey, we would love someone to come and give a district-wide volleyball camp and rotate and have all of our girls be exposed to just honing in on their skills. So knowing when they learn those things that it's actually going to present more opportunities in terms of after high school.
Yes.
So ladies, tell me, what do you think about your coach? What kind of, she mean? Is she have high expectations? Tell me what that looks like.
Well, my coach, she not really mean. It's just.
And mean is probably not the best word.
She stay on us. She just want the best for us. So me personally, I don't take it as a rude or mean coach because I know she want best for all of us. So I just let her do her job.
Sure. I'm glad I hear that.
I won't necessarily say she's mean, but like she said, she's on us. She want the best for us. She want us to see. She want to see us to go further.
Sure.
She want us to succeed and prosper.
My coaches were mean. Just that's all I'm saying. No, just kidding. They really had expectations. So, Coach, tell me what practice looks like, right? So I know you have all of these hitters. I know you got all of these rotations. You got that position called a libero or something like that. Tell me what are you going through when you set up practice?
So school ends at 2:25. They know to be in practice at 2:30. So half the time, everyone sees them running down the hallway because I want things to be structured in a way.
Sure.
Because when we have structure, everything else follows. So they come in. Typically, I don't even have to come in and start practice. They know to start stretching. We go into our warm-ups. We go over hitting. We take the time, especially for our younger ones. I want to make sure, again, the skills is there. So we take our time with learning how to actually hit, what steps to take when you're going for a hit, working on a correct way to set. So we take a lot of time in that. So we practice for about 3 hours a day just to make sure.
So, and I mentioned this, I have a daughter who plays volleyball, and I know nothing much about volleyball. My wife played collegiately, and I have 3 children, and my daughter is the only child. She's the youngest, right? She's the only child that constantly gets to hit her ball in the house. The boys couldn't throw the football in the house. They couldn't bounce the basket. But she hits this volleyball every day, and she's gotten so much better with touches just because she sits at home and does it all day. So that's extremely important in terms of what that practice looks like, giving them a chance to touch that ball.
Correct.
They can really get better extremely, exponentially with those touches.
Right.
So you've been there 2 years now.
Yes.
How did you get to Douglas?
So I'm actually an alum.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
A proud alum.
Proud alum.
Yes. I knew getting into, so I ran away from education for so long.
Sure.
And I knew getting into education that my end goal was to be at Douglas.
Gotcha.
And I wanted to sincerely change our female athletics around, like completely. And so I knew that was going to be bringing in a team behind me as well that's going to be committed to what we're doing.
Gotcha. So who are you getting your philosophies from? Like, who are you listening to? What are those coaches who have poured into you as it relates to coaching women's volleyball?
So I can't necessarily say coaching women's volleyball, but some of the coaches that I grew up around and watched were like Coach Long, Willis Alexander.
Coach Long, he's like old now, right?
Yeah.
He's a long time.
Yes, he was there when I was in school. So, and I'm a big observer. They'll tell you that. So I observe everything. Coach Mack. He was another coach, yes. He still comes in. I even still get tense when he comes in. He's like, if I hear that whistle, I'm like, yes, sir. So
how my baby's doing? How my baby's doing?
Yes,
yeah,
he's on us.
Yeah,
so I do look to them for guidance.
Sure. So ladies, so we talked about this. What does game day look like for you all? Like I asked the question earlier to my Wheeler Middle School kids, student athletes. What are you? I know you can't have your phones, but those moments that you can have it, what's your playlist? What are you listening to kind of get you all hyped up? Like when I was in college or high school, the music was always blaring. Tell me what you're listening to.
Okay, so I really don't listen to music on game days. Well, in volleyball season.
Gotcha.
Because we don't really have our phones none of the game days. It's just we just in class working all day.
Focusing.
And talking to our teammates.
Okay, you?
Like she said, we really don't get the chance to listen to music during a game day. It's like first thing in the morning, we go straight to her office and give her our phones. So it's like we go a whole day without having our phones. So it's like no way.
I'm gonna bring my daughter's phone over there. So Coach, tell me, in terms of your student athletes, describe this Douglas volleyball team. You mentioned to me that they won 1 game 1 year, have won 6 so far this year. Tell me what that's like. Describe the character and say something about these 2 student athletes and what they bring to the table.
It's a different focus. Like they mentioned, I completely changed up my coaching style. After last year, I realized they're a little different from how I grew up.
Sure.
So I had to change up how we did it, everything, and it was just complete structure. I coach, and my philosophy is 1% better every day. And so from last year on to this year, I tell them, 1% better. By the end of the week, we're 7% better. So keeping that philosophy in their head and letting them understand we're going to make mistakes. As long as we learn from them, we're fine. So Kamariana's my nonchalant one. She's my calm storm. You
Sure.
know, she stays after practice to work on hitting and different things like that because she wants to be better.
Sure.
And the same with Micaiah. She sometimes gets in her head, and so I have to, come to her like, hey, we're fine. I'm not yelling at you about, something you don't know. I'm yelling at you for what you do know. And so having that, and then they're young, they're sophomores, so they're understanding. So by the time we get to their senior year, I mean, these are going to be, our hitters. Like,
Sure.
People are going to be looking at Douglas volleyball in a completely different aspect.
Absolutely. So tell me, ladies, what has been, as sophomores, your best moment, right? It could be your personal best moment, and it could be a team moment. Tell me what that moment has been
As
for you.
in the volleyball season?
Volleyball season, yes.
Whoa.
And you could even say something about last year that you weren't really committed and paying attention.
It's really all around. Like, I'm just happy that we able to play as a team because it wasn't this good last year. Like,
Sure.
we actually playing together and knowing our roles.
Sure. Micaiah?
Basically what she said, we're able to like start a family, a sisterhood, to where we can have chemistry with each other, to where that we can come together and have a good game.
Sure. So, Coach, describe for me some of your moments as it relates to going from 1 win to 6, whatever tournament you've played in that you felt like was really good, and then tell us about the upcoming season, like how many more games, who you're playing, and we'll try to get the people to come out and support Douglas volleyball.
So we were in the Northwest Classen tournament a couple weeks ago, and first game we lost to Northwest Classen, and so the girls had to fight back. They fought back, and when I say fought, I was very shocked and proud as a coach sitting there because they really came through and they came together, because that's the biggest thing I preach to them. You all have to have energy on the court. I'm not on the court with you. I need you all to give it to each other.
Sure.
And so, I mean, they fought so hard. We ended up playing Grant and then John Marshall. They ended up winning 2-1. And then we came and, I mean, they played so well against Northwest Classen in the last game and ended up winning 3rd place because of it. But, I mean, they had even the stands like, this is Douglas? Like they were
Yes.
completely shocked. And so I tell them, like, that's the momentum we have to build on.
Sure. So as student athletes, ladies, tell me, what is that one thing that you've learned? Like, what has volleyball given to you, right? So if you could describe it in one word, it's given me confidence, or, it's made me better in my perseverance. Tell me, what does that look like? What is that one thing that you've gotten from it?
I'll say that patience and confidence come with it. It's like, and teamwork. So it's like, as you get older, you're going to have to work with multiple people. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll say confidence as well, and putting a name on the female sports in our school, because female sports in our school is not really big. Like, we really just came about this year. So
Historically, you guys have been good in other sports. I remember Coach Mack won some tournaments with that women's basketball team. I think track girls historically have been really good at Douglas. And so what you guys are doing is saying, hey, volleyball is here, and we want to be remembered in that way. So, Coach, you tell me, and I don't think I've asked you, what is that one word that describes this team? What has become your mantra?
Ooh, perseverance. It's perseverance and fighting through adversity. So they're learning now, because I preach that about life skills when they're older.
Sure.
You have to learn how to fight through adversity. When things get rough, learn how to be able to deal with it, so that way you're not stuck in that mode.
Sure.
So that I would definitely say adversity.
Got you. Tell me, what's the remainder of the season? Tell me upcoming games, the next home game, if you will, and so we can tell some folks to come out there and watch Douglas.
So our last home game in season will be against Harding Fine Arts tomorrow.
Okay.
At 4 and 5 o'clock.
Let's be there, Douglas High School tomorrow, people, 4 o'clock.
Yes.
You guys looking forward to that?
Yes.
Tell me, what is the one team, right? So there's a bunch of rivalries in high school. Who is that one team that you guys are circling saying, I can't wait to play them in volleyball? Who is that?
Millwood. Most definitely.
the volleyball Soul Bowl version, right? So we need food trucks and everything. We need to tell those ADs. Let's set it up for next year.
We actually beat them this year.
Did you
last year?
Oh, wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Coach, what about you? And I know every game is important, but there are some of them where you're looking at like, I want to get this one.
Ooh, I would say classing again. And only because those are the games that, we show our skill. When they start playing teams that, also have the skill as well, they want to compete.
Sure. So you guys are sophomore. How many seniors do you have on this team? And then, Coach, what is your conversation with them about going to college or about trying to pursue this on another level? What is your conversation with them?
So I have no seniors.
No seniors?
No,
It's
and I
cool.
think I may have one junior.
Okay.
And so the rest of my team is pretty young.
Gotcha.
And so the biggest thing, majority, if not all of my girls on my team are in honors classes, and I've set them up to take concurrent enrollment. So my biggest thing is for them to get the academic part down because the athletics is going to follow because they have the skill to do it.
Sure.
But I want to make sure that they're set up in a place where, we're going to get to college. This group is going to get to college, and I've been having them since middle school. So.
Well, I'm an old academic guy collegiately, and so when you talk concurrent enrollment, that is so super. I'm not sure the requirement, I guess, is only to have a 3.0 GPA, and potentially you can be concurrently enrolled. And I think that's something that in our communities that we don't take advantage of, right? And I don't know if parents realize how much money it will save them if their student athlete gets a big jump or their student gets a big jump on that. How is it walking around the halls at Douglas, right? So Douglas, as far as I know, right, it is the oldest school in the city. Everybody that wears this orange and black, I mean, it is Douglas. What are the things that you're teaching your student athletes, your ladies, how they interact and walk around in those hallways, right? Because you're teaching more than just volleyball, but what is your philosophy about, hey, be the best woman out here you can be?
Pride. I tell them, they'll tell you, I still have a lot of pride in Douglas. If anybody says anything about this Trojan head, I get upset.
Yeah,
and so I do preach that.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
So I try to teach them pride, and then teaching the newer kids, the new generation, this Trojan hand means something to us.
Sure.
It's a part of our heart. So I need you to understand and don't disrespect this Trojan head. So
Sure.
the disrespect comes from, how you portray yourself, how you carry yourself at this school, different things like that. You don't disrespect this Trojan head.
Sure. Ladies, how do you feel? How are you viewed as you walk around the hallways by your counterparts and other students? Y'all not in trouble in the office with Mr. Three, are you?
No.
Mr.
Not
Jones?
at all. Walking around the hallways is just, I can't really explain it, but I'm just happy to be at the school. It's like,
Really? That is so good to hear.
my team, it's kind of like a family, so I can't explain it.
All
It's
right.
just,
Micaiah?
It's like basically we said like a family. So it's like we. How can I say this? It's like like during the hallways, we can just talk to each other. Like the days we don't have our phones, that's really the days we bond.
Sure.
Because it's like we don't have our phones, so it's like we have nobody else to talk to but each other.
Well, when my daughter doesn't have her phone, she doesn't like talking to me. I fight to have a conversation with her. She's 11 and she's not trying to hear it at all. So Coach, where did you get that from? Because I'm thinking I like that, right? and what have you seen have become the benefits of that particular one thing? Because that sounds like both of them have mentioned that, and that's been pretty significant for them.
Social media is something else with specifically these kids.
Sure.
So taking away the phones helps them focus. And so I've saw a difference in me taking the phones on game days. So they're more focused. Like you said, they talk to each other more because if not, they're all on their phones. If I go in the locker room, everybody's in their phone, So taking away the phone, they have to talk to each other. They have to laugh with each other. They have to, prepare for the game with each other.
Sure. So do you promote your student athletes playing other sports other than volleyball? And if so, I want to ask these ladies, what sports do they play?
Yes, because I'm the basketball coach too.
Oh.
So yes, they'll tell you they both play basketball and then they also run track.
Okay.
And so Micaiah and both of them actually have gotten a lot better in the way they run, their form, because of our track coach. So I do promote them to go to other sports because, there's other opportunities out there.
Yeah. So you guys play basketball. You're being forced to. No, not forced. What they call it, voluntarily mandatory to play.
well, basketball is not forced. That's my sport.
Okay, cool.
But track,
I'm actually starting to enjoy track.
it's had to grow on you. Just
Yeah.
like my cross country guy over there. Angel says, I didn't really want to, but it grows on you. So how has it been? How's the reaction been with the rest of the students as you guys have gone from winning one game now to winning six games? What has that been like, the reaction been for you all?
We have more of a support system than we had last year. Like, people actually want to come to the games and watch us.
Makai?
Same thing.
Sure.
It's like we have the bigger support system to where they want to come out.
Back then you didn't
Like-
want me, but now y'all own me. Coach, what do you think? What have you seen?
To what they're saying, a lot more support. I have a lot of alumni.
Sure.
I have a lot of, because we tried to make a big deal with our female alumni.
Sure.
So they're now coming out supporting more. I'm getting a lot of donations from them, wanting to see our girls be more successful. So, I mean, which we knew that would come with the territory. Once we
Sure.
start actually, showing, we'll get more support and backing behind that.
Gotcha. So last question, maybe, Micaiah. Tell me, who out there would you like to say thank you to for all of their support for you and your success as a student athlete at Douglas?
My parents and my coach, because they're the ones that pushed me to go farther and want to see me succeed in life.
Gotcha.
I'll say my aunt and my grandma, they both passed this summer, but it gave me something to go harder for because they didn't get to see me graduate. And also my coach, because out of everybody, she pushes me the most to be the best I can be.
Sure. And so I tell my sons this: if your coach is not kind of on you, then you need to be worried. But when they are, it means that they really have an expectation. So take it the best way you can. Coach, tell me, who out there you want to say thank you to? You have a wonderful athletic department. They're standing back there, so you might not want to forget them.
I would definitely say the administration in the athletic department, with their backing, we've been able to do this, and it's been easier to be a coach for Oklahoma City Public Schools.
Hey, listen, I'm excited. The next game is tomorrow, starting at 4:00 at Douglas High School. Come out and support the Douglas Trojans. Listen, when I think about Douglas, and you guys are named after Frederick Douglass, do you realize that he was one of the foremost intellectuals in a time where we were not supposed to be? You need to read that story. That is an incredible man, and to be playing with that on your chest is really, really cool. So listen, thank you for joining the Metro Tech OKCPS Coaches Show. Here on CBS Sports Radio 105.3 at the Chickasaw Ballpark. Our presenting sponsors, Kai's Concepts, Perry Broadcast, and Oklahoma City Dodgers Foundation, Dick's Sporting Goods, Impressions Printing, and Big O's Barbecue. Listen, we'll be here on next Monday, same time. Have a great night. What's that?
Oklahoma City, I'm Miles Perry, and I want you to tune into my show, Super Prep Live.
Super Prep Live takes an in-depth look at the Oklahoma high school student athlete and what makes he or she become great at what they do. Super Prep Live can be heard on OKC's CBS Sports Radio 105.3 and Instagram Live.
Make sure you tune in and learn about the next great student athlete on Super Prep Live with me, Miles Perry.